Let's use revolve and map art to create a logo in Illustrator. So first we will create some rectangles. So we will just give a color to it. So we'll turn off the stroke. We will only keep the fill. So we will just create 8 to 10 rectangles. So here we can just count. So we'll create 2 more rectangles. Right. So once we have these rectangles, now let's create a smaller rectangle, something like this. We can just make it a little bit small. Right. So we will just take a duplicate of these rectangles. So we can create a fancy shape or something like this. Just we'll duplicate the rectangles. And we have to arrange them in this manner. Right. So once we have arranged all these rectangles, the next thing we'll be doing is we will just select the entire set of shapes and we will just open the Pathfinder. The Pathfinder is in Windows menu, and what we'll be doing is we will just unite and make all these shapes into a single shape. Right. So we have created a single shape now. The next thing we'll be doing is we will select the direct selection tool and we can just make the edges of these shape rounded. So something like this. We need to get something like this. And the left and right edge has to be sharp. It should not be down. It should not be rounded. Only the inside has to be rounded. So what we'll be doing is we will just create a rectangle first on the left side. And then we will just hold shift and select both the objects, and we will just open the Pathfinder, and here we have the option minus front. Right. And we will be doing the same thing on the right side. So just we have to create a rectangle, and we'll just hold shift and select both the objects, and we will open the Pathfinder, and here we have the option minus front. Right. So we need to get a shape like this. Right. So once we got this shape, the next thing we'll be doing is we will now open the symbols panel. If the symbols panel is not available on the Illustrator interface, we can open it from window menu. We can also use the keyboard shortcut Shift Control F11 in PC or Shift Command F11 in Mac. Right. So we'll open the symbols panel and we will drag this shape inside the symbols panel. We can give it rectangles. Right. So now the shape is created. We can simply delete this one. The shape has become a symbol. Right. The next thing we'll be doing is we will be creating an ellipse. We will give a green color to this ellipse, and we will create a semicircle out of this ellipse. We will select the direct selection tool, and we will just select this point on the right side, and we will just delete that point so that this ellipse becomes a semicircle. Now we will select this semicircle. We'll simply go to effect menu, and here we have the 3D options. So we will select 3D classic revolve, and then if we scroll down, here we can see the option left edge. We don't want left edge, it looks cylindrical. We don't want it to look cylindrical, we want it to look like a sphere. So we will select right edge. So immediately we can see now the ellipse looks like a sphere. And here we can control its lighting, but we are anyways going to replace this sphere with a symbol. So for that, what we'll be doing is, here we have the option map art. We'll simply click on this map art, and from the map art dialog we will just select the symbol list, and from the symbol list we will select the symbol, that is rectangles, which we have just now created. So we will simply select the rectangles. So we can see here, and we will adjust the rectangles over this graph. Here we can see a graph that looks like a mountain. So we will adjust these rectangles over this graph. We can just stretch it completely, so we can see here how it looks. So we have completely covered the graph with this particular symbol, the rectangle symbol. And now we will turn off the invisible geometry. We don't want that green color sphere to be visible. So we can see here. So we can see some changes here, and then we will simply click OK, and we will just click OK again. That's it. So we can see, and now what we'll be doing is we will expand this symbol. We will bring this logo, the rectangle logo, out of this revolve mode. Currently the rectangles are in revolve mode. So we will just go to object menu, and here we have the option expand appearance. Right. And now we will just ungroup all the objects. So we will simply right click on the object, and here we have the option ungroup, and we will ungroup it till we get the option release clipping mask. So we can see here, now we got the option release clipping mask. So if we just move this object to the right side, we can see here, we can see the objects. So what we can do is we can again ungroup it. So we can see here, and here we can unite some of the objects. So we want this entire set of objects to be a single one. So what we can do, we will just move some of these objects, align them properly. So we'll just move it carefully. Right. So now we will just select the entire set of objects, and we will just open the Pathfinder, and here we have the option unite. Right. Now this is a single object. Right. So now what we'll be doing is we will just keep it over the another object, but before that we will do one more thing. This object, the object that is behind, we will just move it one more time. So we will also first bring this object from its revolve mode. So means we have to just right click on the object, and again we have to click the same thing, ungroup, and so we can see some unwanted lines here. We will just delete them, right? So now once again, this is the inside portion of this sphere. So we will select this entire object, but here we can see some line here, that unwanted line. We don't want that, we will delete it. Now we will select the entire object, and then again we will use the pathfinder to unite, right? So this is the outside portion and this is the inside portion. So we can reduce the opacity of the inside portion, so we can see here. And then what we'll be doing is we will just align the front portion properly with the back portion, so we can see here, right? So now this looks nice. So here we can just patiently adjust the object properly. So we can also scale the object a little bit. Right. So now this looks better. So then what we'll be doing is we will just rotate the object a little bit, something like this. And what we'll be doing is we will give some nice colors to the object. So we will just select the front object, and we will give some nice gradients to it. So here we will select orange yellow gradient. So we will just apply yellow and orange colors to it, and we will select radial gradient style, so it looks nice, right? Now this looks interesting, right? Then the next thing we'll be doing is we will also give some shadow to it, drop shadow to the front object. So we will select the front object here, and then here we have effect menu. From effect menu we will select stylize, and here we have the option drop shadow. So we can see here, so there is a small amount of drop shadow. If you want the shadow to be a little bit dark, we can also increase the opacity to 60%. So now the shadow is a little bit dark, right? Then one more interesting thing that we'll be doing is we will again select one ellipse, and this time we will just give it a, let's say, a blue color, and we will also just make it into a sphere. So we will again use the revolve option. So we'll just select this point on the right side of this ellipse and delete that point, so that that ellipse again becomes a semicircle. And then we will just select this semicircle. We'll go to effect menu, and again we will go to the 3D classic option, and we will just apply a revolve option to it. And again we'll do the same thing, that is we will select the option right edge, so that it looks like a sphere. But this time we will do one more thing, that is we will try to adjust some lighting over this sphere. So here we will select the surface as plastic shading, and we can adjust the lighting over the sphere, but the lighting should look realistic. So what we'll be doing is we will just reduce the ambient light, and then we will also reduce the highlight intensity. The highlight is that white color shine on the sphere. and we can also change its direction, and we will also reduce the highlight size. Highlight has to be very small, and we will increase the blend steps to 100, and we will also just take one more lighting, and we can place that lighting on another corner, so we can see here. So something like this. So now we can see, and we can also reduce the light intensity if you want. Right. So now this looks like a sphere, and we will simply click OK, and then we will expand this sphere, means we will bring it outside the revolve mode. So we will just go to object menu, and here we have the option expand appearance, right, and then we will just keep it over here, and we will scale it, and we will just right click over the sphere, and here we have the option arrange, and we will just click on this send backward. So we can see the sphere, so something like this. So we can slightly increase the sphere here, and we can also give it some transparency by reducing the opacity here. So but we need to be careful here. Just a minute, we will just go back a few steps. We will bring the sphere outside this logo. So we will just reduce the opacity of this sphere a little bit. Let's keep it to 80%, and then now we will just put the sphere in its original place. So we'll just right click on the sphere, and we will select arrange, and we'll choose the option send backward. So now we can see, right. So we have created something like this, and now one more thing we'll be doing is we will just select the entire set of objects, and we will group the entire set of objects. So we can give some nice fade out effect to this logo. So what we'll be doing is we will just select a rectangle, and we will give black and white color to it, and the next thing we'll be doing is, so we can just rotate this. We want the rectangle to cover this entire logo, and the thing we need to know here is wherever there is white color, so the portion of the logo that is behind the white color will be visible, and the portion of the logo that is behind the black color will be invisible, so that we will get a nice transition and fade out effect from visibility to invisibility. So what we are supposed to do is we can increase the percentage of black color. So we will simply activate the annotator. The shortcut for annotator is G. So this is the line. So we can just move this annotator. So see, here we are adding more black color. So the black portion will hide the logo behind it, and we also want a bright white color, so that the logo will be visible on top portion, and it will fade out at the bottom. So in the gray areas it will be semi-transparent. So we will just move these points, right. We can do some trial and error here. So if you are not satisfied in our first attempt, we can go for second or third attempts till we are satisfied. So we'll just select the entire set of objects, the logo as well as this rectangle, and what we'll be doing now is, so here we have the option opacity, and on the top right corner of the opacity we can see a menu, a hamburger menu. Just click on that, and here we have the option make opacity mask. So we can see, so see here we got some nice fade out effect, but the fade out is too much, so we will reduce the black portion here. So we will just activate the annotator, and we will move the black a little bit down, because we don't want too much of the logo to become invisible. So this much is okay. So now we will just select the entire set of objects, and then we will just click on this opacity, and here we will just click on that menu, and we'll just click on this make opacity mask. So we can see here. So this looks better, and we will just go for this fade out effect one more time. So this is what we are supposed to do. So we have to do it till we are satisfied fully, and just moving this annotator a little bit upwards, right. So now we'll again just click on this make opacity mask. Okay, now this looks better, right. So here we can see we got some nice fade out effect, right. So now we will just select the entire set of objects here. We will group them, right. And the last thing we'll be doing is we will just type something here. So let's say global technologies. So we can give any name. So it's like a IT company. We can change the font to impact. And to make it more interesting, so we can actually give some shear to this text. So we'll just right click on the text. Here we have the option transform, and here we have the option shear. So we can see here we have just made the text a little bit italic. The text is bending a little bit, right. So we can just increase the shear angle, right. And then we will just give some caption. So we can just select the type tool here. So we can just say leading the way, right. And we will also make this caption a little bit bent. So by using this option shear, so we can see, right. And one last thing that we'll be doing is we will also just create a background. So we will select this rectangle. We'll cover the rectangle over this logo, and we'll now open swatches. So the swatches panel is inside the Windows menu. So we'll just open the swatches. From swatches we can get ready-made or inbuilt gradients. So we'll just click on this swatch libraries menu, and we will just find some inbuilt gradients. Here we have gradients and jumps and jewels, and from here we will just apply a gradient. So we can select which gradient looks nice. So we'll now just select this rectangle. We'll right click on the rectangle, and here we have the option arrange, and we will just select the option send to back, right. And if we are not satisfied with this particular background, we can find some other background as well. Okay, so there are different types of backgrounds here. So I think this looks better, right. So here we have created a logo, a software, a company logo, using Revolve and map art. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Please do like, subscribe, share, and if you have anything to say, do comment. See you again.